Hi and welcome. Mining has traditionally been a male-dominated industry. Steps have been taken in recent times to help integrate women into mining, but still, women are vastly underrepresented. Today, we're joined here by Päivi Kautiainen, Director of Engineering Services for our Rock Drills and Technologies division, to discuss diversity and inclusion with a focus on gender. Welcome to the session, Päivi.
Thank you, Martina. It's great to be here and greetings from Tampere, Finland.
Great having you. And thanks for joining us online too. Post your questions in the comments field, or if you have any initiatives you want to highlight around the topic, feel free to do that as well. So Päivi, what are your main responsibilities as Director of Engineering Services?
It's a global R&D role, and my team provides design engineering services to all divisions in the business area, and additionally, we are managing global R&D processes and tools, the ones that are common across divisions inside the business area, and there are people from a number of cultural backgrounds reporting in my organization, and it's like our everyday job to collaborate with different Sandvik units around the world, and therefore this topic, diversity and inclusion, it's very relevant to me, since my team and we come all the time into situations where this really needs to be addressed.
Thank you. And why is there both a need to have and also an advantage of having more women in the engineering field?
According to different studies, diverse teams, they just perform better. And when you think about it, the engineering jobs, they have changed a lot recently, and I don't see any justification that men should be like so much overrepresented in engineering.
I'm with you there. And how can diversity be defined if we're talking about diversity?
Diversity can of course be defined differently depending on what the focus is. For example, at Sandvik, we think that workplace diversity is about understanding and accepting and valuing differences between people, including, for example, age and gender, race, national origin, language, religion, you name it.
Yeah, it is very important, and I actually did some research prior to meeting you here, and I read up on about our customers and different operators in the field, and there were different ways of defining diversity. I mean, BHP, they are working very impressively with diversity and inclusion, and they also included in their statement pregnancy, breastfeeding, family responsibilities. Why can that differ, you think?
Well, I don't know. It might relate to the society where people are coming from. It relates to everybody's background and different perceptions that people have.
Okay, but it's always good to know that there are a lot of good initiatives out there. And according to a 2019 stat from Bloomberg, the proportion of women employed by mining companies sits at around 15.7%, only up by 1% in the past 5 years. And the numbers are even worse at management level, with only 1 in 20 global mining firms headed by a woman. Why is that, despite a focus on diversity and inclusion in recent years, that women continue to be so underrepresented at all levels?
Well, I think it's very complex. So when you think about mining, the industry is like thousands of years old, and up until just very recently, it has been very, very labor intensive. meaning that primarily only men have worked in it. But then again, mining has changed a lot, and it's changing all the time and very, very rapidly. So at the moment, I think it's a global business that it's very, very heavily reliant on technology. And I think that at the moment, something like maybe 90% of current jobs are something that both men and women can do. But also I do recognize that the idea of mining being a male industry where women don't belong, that's very dominating still in many parts of the world, and not only among men, but interestingly also among women.
Could this perhaps be a reflection of society in general, in the countries we live and operate?
Well, that's an excellent question, and I would like to get some comments now in the comment field that we have. So please, everybody. But I think that yes, it probably does, because, for example, in societies that promote equality, there's probably not that much distinction between that, like these jobs belong to men and these jobs belong to women. And if you think, for example, about the daycare in different countries, so yes, for sure, in some countries it's much easier for both parents to work than in other countries. So therefore, yes, I think it does reflect the society as well.
Thank you, Päivi. And if we go looking at Sandvik, the trend seems to be more women in management positions. What are the recent developments?
Well, that's an excellent question. And yes, you are right. So between 2015 and 2019, the number of female managers increased from 12 to 18%. And I think that's pretty significant. But still, I think that we could do better. And I think that we will also need to focus on the entire workforce of employees, especially where we have less of a development.
Thank you. And just to let you know that we are here talking about gender and diversity with a focus on gender with Päivi Kautiainen. She's the Director of Engineering Services. So Päivi, we now have a question from the audience, and it is what kind of goals has Sandvik that relates to gender and diversity? And I think you just mentioned one of the mining and manager goals, but maybe you could repeat that a little bit, that we are on track there.
Yeah, that's true. So for sure, we do have specific targets when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And it's more like each function has their own targets, because the starting points that different units and different functions have are so different. So that's why we need to have pretty specific targets.
Yeah, and this question was from Emma Wik. It was a really good question, and we have a lot of different initiatives going on at the moment, and maybe we'll even set a figure that we will work towards for a long-term goal, right? So having females in leading positions, does that automatically get more women into a company, would you say?
Well, I think it helps, yes. So seeing females in top-level positions, that gives a pretty good example, in my opinion. So let's say, for example, for students who are just choosing their future professions. So it's good to show that Sandvik offers equal career opportunities, and it's only about the matter of finding the right people into the right roles, in my opinion.
Thank you. And what challenges do we face in attracting and retaining women within mining and engineering in general?
When it comes to attracting women, I think that the first thing that we should do is to try to change the reputation of mining industry, and that would be easy. And then when it comes to retaining women, so for example, what we are doing here now, so we just need to raise the awareness that the world is changing into more tolerable direction, into more modern direction, if you'd like. And then, for example, here at Sandvik, we have organized these nano learnings on diversity and inclusion, and the response rate that has been really high. And according to the questionnaire, people thought that they actually have learned a lot, and that is the foundation going forward.
Yeah, I agree. It's not only about participating, it's actually about learning and widening the perspectives. And we actually got another question here from Busra Bilgi Business Administration, and they let you know that it's great to know about that there are a lot of initiatives for gender and diversity, but what do you think about the LGBT community's condition in the industry? And the LGBT then is includes lesbian, gay, bisexual and transsexual community. So what do you think about their condition? Is that something that you can answer to?
Well, of course, I think that's also included in the diversity and inclusion. So we are not tolerating any kind of exclusion.
Thank you. And I mean, as you said, Päivi, that's also a factor that we work with, but we focused this issue or this session on gender diversity when it came to women. And we have another question or a comment from Prabhat Mittal, Associate Vice President from Underground Coal and Tunneling. And he says, or she says, or they say that today women are operating the underground machines in mines. So it's only a question of more encouragement by the society and companies to build this culture of diversity and inclusion. So it's actually...
Yeah. So I couldn't agree more. So I'm totally with you there.
So Sandvik is committed to developing a diverse, inclusive workplace where at least a third of managers are women. So why is diversity and inclusion a crucial success factor, not only for us, but for the success of our customers within mining and rock excavation?
Well, we want to find the right people into the right roles, and we value skilled and motivated persons. And it would be just crazy to only look from the half of the population. So why would I do that? So we need bright minds and different perspectives, and therefore we are promoting diverse teams by all criterias. And then diverse teams, they make us more innovative. We get better ability to think outside the box, and we can keep up with the fast-paced and competitive business environment.
Thank you. And I mean, Sandvik, I know that we're looking for exceptional people in general, and that is like a very important aspect in all criteria. We're talking about not only engineering, we talked about that prior to the session, in any field that we work. So what kind of vision and objectives have you set for your organization then, Päivi?
Yeah, well, in the business area where I operate, so we have specific targets, obviously, but more importantly, when hiring people, gender or ethnical background should not matter at all, in my opinion. But it should be all about like suitable skill set and most importantly, the motivation to build a career in engineering or in mining industry. Because I wouldn't let a person's like skin color or gender to stop me from hiring a top talent.
No, that's an important comment, and I also know that you discussed the criteria when writing the criteria for a role, so to speak. You said that we need to be careful so that we don't exclude people from that. Could you comment?
Well, yeah. when I think about, for example, all the vacancies that I have posted and the applications that I've got for the vacancies, so not too many of the applications come from women, unfortunately. So I think that's somewhere where we should work on a little bit more. So we should be very, very careful when setting the criteria for the role, so that we are not accidentally excluding anybody.
Yeah, very true. Because I know that if we set criteria that you should have been working within mining for 20 years, you automatically might exclude a lot of the applications that you want to receive.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. And there are some more questions. Are you ready for them, Päivi?
Oh, yeah, sure.
This might be a tricky one. It's from Ebenezer Kojo Dankwa, working with inventory and logistics. My question is, are there any strategic change management in place to help build the talent of our women? I want to know how this change has been implemented.
Well, I think that the whole industry at the moment is working within the change that is happening right here and right now. So, for example, one of the drivers for the change, that's the rapid development of technology. And of course, we have to keep up with the technology development and have our strategic initiatives and all our HR strategies aligned with what is happening in the business environment.
Thanks. And we have another question. Maybe you personally can answer this one. It said that, Päivi, you said mining industry is labor intense. What are the challenges a woman might experience in the field?
Well, I think that the first challenge that women experience is that there's no history that women are working for mining. So it's not that normal for women to apply jobs in the field of mining. But we just need to make the breakthrough. So let's make it more normal that women can work there as well. Because the whole industry is changing. So let's change with it.
And now we might skip a little bit a question, because I got a comment here. We are soon to zoom in on India, where you operate, Päivi. But I got a question. How is Sandvik employing women in countries like India, where women are not very welcome for non-desk jobs? And I know that you have specific experience from India.
Well, yes, sure. So one of the organizations reporting to me is based in Bangalore, India. And of course, as everywhere else where we are operating, we are not excluding anybody there either. And of course, I'm not looking at the only half of the population there either. So therefore, we do encourage young, talented females in Bangalore to apply jobs that we are posting. And actually, we have also organized these sessions in local universities where we introduce the company and where we show what Sandvik does. And that's how we are trying to break the old perceptions of engineering organizations or mining organization. And we are showing that, yes, we are really working with the most recent technology. So please apply the jobs that we are posting.
Yeah, it seems like local initiatives are very important. It's not only something that we drive on a global level, but it needs to trickle down to the local organizations in the local communities even.
Yes, exactly.
And we have a lot of questions, but we need to get on a little bit, so we'll have another question session with you soon. But why is diversity a contributor to better mining companies, and why is there such a strong case to be made for getting more women involved in the mining industry?
Well, the research shows that there are like a lot of highly skilled professional female managers out there, and I can't see why they couldn't contribute to mining companies, and why couldn't they operate inside mining industry. And I see that they can really make an impact when it comes to the bottom line of the companies.
So basically, they make companies more sustainable and profitable, perhaps.
Yeah, correct.
And attracting women to the industry and keeping women are challenging, but how can the mining industry improve its diversity record to better attract them? And what role does that play in future-proofing the industry's workforce?
Well, I think that we need to change our perceptions about what men and women can or can't do and what they should or shouldn't do, and then look at the competencies and potential beyond that in order to attract and retain a diverse workforce. And also, I think that we need to change the perception of the mining industry, and changing perceptions, as you know, it will take time and it will take effort. And at the moment, as I probably already mentioned, it looks like and it feels like the entire industry is working towards that change.
Thank you. And is there a critical tipping point for the industry, would you say?
Well, to me, that point would be when we don't have to work as hard with diversity and inclusion anymore. It's when we have achieved a diverse and inclusive workplace, and we can see that representation of, let's say, for example, women all levels in the organization, it's already there. And it would mean like there's no issue basically anymore. And if I can use an example here. So, for example, like in Finland, where I'm coming from, so it's completely normal that girls go to school. And that's how normal I'd like it to be for women to apply jobs in engineering or mining if they choose to and if they feel the passion for that.
Yeah, I really hope more women join us. And for your information, we're here with Päivi Kautiainen. She's the Director of Engineering Services, and we're talking about diversity and inclusion, focusing on gender. So, Päivi, last year you won the first ever Sandvik Diamond Award. It's a recognition of significant and sustainable diversity and inclusion achievements. So we'd like to know why you were awarded and what it did mean to you.
Why I was awarded? So I think it's because of the work that I do in my global role. So I try to break down cultural barriers and get the global collaboration in place. And I think that there's just no room for any kind of exclusion, and we do need the diversity. And it's pretty important recognition to me, because that's why I'm here and it's what I do. So I try to bring people together, and I try to fight against exclusion, and therefore this prize just means everything to me, and it gives me energy to continue working with the topic.
And behind you, we can see the Diamond Award. Actually, you were awarded a certificate, and it's showing just behind you there, like a big diamond. So, Päivi, you have introduced many initiatives to drive diversity and inclusion, and they have resulted in sustainable cultural change and improvement. And such a focus is attracting female engineers to our Bangalore Design Center in India. So, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. When you think about India and specifically Bangalore, so there are a lot of engineering competence there, like very skilled and very talented men and women, and India, that's just so diversified in all possible ways. So Look, for example, the geographics or cultures or languages or anything. And in Bangalore and also everywhere else where we operate. So we always look for the right people into right roles and right positions. And there, for example, gender or religion, that just doesn't matter. That's not relevant. And of course, in Bangalore area as well, Sandvik gives career opportunities also for women who have the right skill set.
And how does the Bangalore Design Center celebrate International Women's Day each year? I know that you have something special going on there.
Oh, that's true. So Bangalore knows how to celebrate, let me tell you this. So in the design center, male employees, they organize this event to recognize the important contributions made by their female colleagues in designing of new products, for example. And around 1/5 of our workforce there is women, and they come from a range of backgrounds. And there we celebrate International Women's Day by discussing culture and about empowerment of women and by exchanging ideas. And I always try to be there myself every year in March so I can listen to experiences and ideas and challenges that everybody has. I mean, I've been around the block a couple of times, so maybe there's something I can do to help.
Absolutely. And let's see if we have some pictures from your celebrations in Bangalore. I think we can see them now. Yeah, you have a team there. And Päivi, going further, what benefits do mines that hire a higher proportion of women experience?
Well, I think that diverse and inclusive teams, they are more creative, they are more innovative, and they are even more profitable. So the mining industry is rapidly evolving as companies turn to automation, to data analytics, to connectivity, to digitalization, which then improves their productivity, efficiency, and ultimately at the end of the day, their bottom line as well. And in this new area, fast-paced innovation, that's vital. And this makes diversity even more important, in my opinion, is companies that promote inclusivity and companies that foster diversity, they have been proven to outperform and they tend to be more productive.
And I'm thinking a little bit on you might have a special message for students, young students that want to get into engineering. But before that, I want to ask you, because there are a few questions on the same topic here. It's about Sandvik, and if we have a female succession program in place. Someone asks that, and someone also asks about if there is like a talent program for women, and not only young females, but also women in general. Could you elaborate?
Well, yeah, sure. Yes, so we do have a succession program in place. We do have talent programs in place, but not only for females, but for everybody.
Thank you. And we'll see here. There is a question here as well. Are women being paid the same as their male counterparts?
Well, I wouldn't know exact details, but I can't think of any reason why females should be paid less if they are doing exactly the same job as their male colleagues, if they have exactly the same experience and exactly the same knowledge and skill set.
Yeah, and maybe we can get an HR specialist to answer these specific questions in the chat field afterwards. So we'll get back to you with specific answers with an HR professional later on. So, do you foresee more women entering the mining industry?
the technological development that will create new job roles, and they will require different skills. And I truly believe that it will contribute in attracting more women in the future. And now, as we've set ourselves targets to increase the number of female applicants for roles, we are focused on getting women in through the door, which means broadening the appeal of our workplace and our industry to women as well. We have organized, for example, company introductions, as I already mentioned, in different universities, showing what the world looks like from our perspective at the moment.
Thank you. And to round up a little bit, what are the risks if we don't work successfully with diversity and inclusion within the mining industry?
Well, that's a very important question. And I think that then we would risk falling behind, not keeping up with development, and of course, we'd appear less attractive from an outside perspective.
And what do you hope to see for the future of diversity and inclusion in the mining industry?
I'd like it to be just equally normal for all motivated people with the right skill set to apply for positions in engineering and in mining industry, regardless of the gender or race or age or, I don't know, color of the eyes. Those things should be irrelevant. It should be all about who you are and what you can do.
And do you have a last message to anyone wanting to enter the mining sector, thinking about what field to study within engineering or in any field? What would you like to say to them?
Well, yeah, so it's very, very interesting field of industry. And for example, in engineering, there's just a huge variety of different kind of jobs and roles, and more are coming up all the time. So what I would like to say, everybody, is that don't be afraid. Just follow your passion and go ahead and go for it.
That was a really good summary. Thank you so much for joining us, Päivi. And maybe you will take some time to answer some questions in the comments field as well after this session.
Sure. Thank you so much.
And to sum up, also, we can see those diversity and inclusion, maybe the definition as an end speak. And thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for our next live session.